It's time for the Northwoods Cooking Show. Starring Uncle Roy and Miss Callie, the troublemaking dog.
Bonjour mes enfants, and welcome to the Northwoods Cooking Show. As you can tell, we're going to be doing French cooking today, and I've learned some new recipes and it's going to be so much fun. Today we're going to be doing some authentic macarons. Not the macaroons, but macarons. And this is the French way of making it. And we're going to be also making some palmiers, which are the polymers, was what we call them, but it's pronounced palmier. And these are going to be, we call them also elephant ears, but it's your pastry puff that's swirled and twirled. So they got like little eyes. That's what I call them. And it's a cinnamon sugar encrusted pastry puff, which is so simple. Both of these are easy to make. And so, I'm your cook, Uncle Roy, and I have to introduce you to mon chien, Miss Callie. Oh, Callie, come here. We got a treat for you. Come here, Callie. Come here, Callie, come here. She was laid out in the sun, and it was the first warm day this cool winter. This cold spring. So now she's tired. She was napping out on the deck. Sit pretty. Say hello to everybody. Come here. Come here, sit pretty. Sit pretty. Oh, wait up. Come here. Come here. Get over here. Say hello, hello, hello. Get over here and say hello. Come here. Sit pretty. Sit. Sit pretty. Up, up. Oh, hello, hello. Now you can go take your nap. We'll see you at the end of the show. So, first of all, what we're going to be using is called almond meal or almond flour. And it's kind of hard to find this, but I found it at Trader Joe's. They have it. So your natural food places will have them. But anyway, we need 2/3 cup of the almond meal. And this is going right into our food processor. And what this almond meal is, basically, is just ground up almonds. I suppose you could take and do your own if you wanted to, but it's quite expensive. This is really cheap. It's like, what was it, $3.99 I think? For a 1 pound bag. Well, you know, 1 pound almond nuts, gosh, that's like, what, $8, $9? Hello? Cheaper to buy than it is to make it. So we just need that and a 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. And we want to put these in our food processor because we want as fine a grind as possible. The finer the better. And this will take out all your lumps, if you have any, in your powdered sugar. And in the nuts too. Like if the humidity is high, it's very easy to get lumps in your sugar and flour. So, oh, she had a crinkle. I think her curiosity is getting her up. Look at her. Snooping. Oh. Crinkle. Well, she'll go running as soon as I turn on the machine. So we want to buzz this up a few times. And then we want to run this through a sieve. Now you don't want to use your flour sieve because that's a little coarser grind. You want a real fine sieve. And you can get these larger sizes too. I don't have a larger one, otherwise I would have used one. But you just want to take and pat this out. And I'm just doing this on top of parchment paper. So when I get done with this, then we'll continue. This is going to take a while. Okay, now we got this powder all sifted through. That takes a little bit, takes a little time. And now we've got 3 egg whites. And we're going to beat these until they're frothy. Oh, plug it in, Callie. Okay, these are nice and frothy. They're not quite peaks yet, but they're soft. Then turn to low and we add 5 tablespoons of sugar. Now if you have the super fine sugar, that's going to be even better because that'll dissolve quickly, because now we want to mix this up until the sugar is dissolved. We don't want to have the crystals in there. And we'll just let that mix for a few minutes just until the sugar gets dissolved. Now we can take and turn this up to high until we get soft peaks. And that's a nice soft peak. You don't want to over mix your meringue. Otherwise, if you get too dry, then your product is going to be real dry and it's not going to turn out right. This is kind of touchy to make. We're hoping that we're going to make this right. Now we just pour in half of the dry mixture. And we take and just fold this in. Now folding in, remember, is coming down from the bottom and bringing it up to the top. Let me get this over here and show you. You want to start from the bottom and bring it up to the top. So we're just folding in everything into this meringue. You don't want to stir it up. You want to fold it in gently because you want to try and keep as much volume as possible from the meringue, from the egg whites. So you don't want to over mix this either. That's all mixed in. And then we'll put in the other half. We're not doing samples yet, Callie. Almost fell on the floor. And then we'll just take and fold this in. That's almost ready, not quite. When it still holds its shape with the tester, you didn't stir it enough. So we just have to take and just stir this up a little bit more. Because you want your batter to be a little on the runny side, but not quite. Because you want it to still hold up. So it just needs a few more strokes. And then that'll get it to be the right consistency. You just don't want it to stand up, you don't want a thick one, because we're not making the meringues. That's another cookie. We're making the macaron. So, now the easy way, well, you can put this around your hand, make the funnel with your hand. This is the old-fashioned way of doing it. Or you can just stick this whole thing in a big old plastic cup. Bring the size down, really simple. Let me see if I got one. He's got thousands of these saved up, from every sporting occasion he went to in his life, I think. But that comes in handy though for filling up your bag. And then you got a free hand here to hold everything. And now we're going to pipe the batter. You want the round tip, the big fat round one. Not a star. Star one you do for your meringue, for the meringue cookie. But for this, the macaron. Any of my friends out there from high school, hello. Especially those in my French class from when I had 6th, 7th, and 8th grade of French. And my name in French class was Pierre. How French is that? I remember these things, oh God. But anyway, now we're going to pipe out the cookies, the macaron. And make them as big as you want, but technically they're small cookies. So you want like about a silver dollar, or like those dollar bun size, the little mini buns, like White Castle buns, you know, about those little small ones. And you just go in a circle on an edge like this and stop in the middle. And then we're going to have a little peak. Well, then we'll just take our finger, dip it in water, and go back over. And that'll cover up the peak. It'll get rid of it. And you want these about 1 inch to 2 inches apart from each other. Because these are going to spread out slightly. And you don't want them sticking to each other. Otherwise, when they go to cool, and you go to peel them off the parchment paper, if the cookies stick together to each other, then you're going to end up with, of course, a blunt end on the side of your cookie. And you don't want that. You want it to be a perfect, round, smooth surface. Well, in case one breaks, I got an extra one here to replace it. Now I'll just take my finger, dip it in water, and just go over the peaks. I learned this one from doing pâté chaud. Another French one, which is cream puffs. And you do the same thing with your cream puffs when you're making cream puffs or eclairs. And you pull away and you get that little tip. Just put your finger in water and press down on top of the tip. And that'll smooth out and blend in with the rest of your pastry. We're gonna tap these down. Get some set. And now we let these sit for about 15 minutes until we get a dry skin film on the outside of the cookie. We need that so that it holds it in, and then we can bake them. So we gotta wait 15 minutes. Okay, it's been 15 minutes and they have that slight skin on the outside. Now we'll put these in the oven, which is preheated to 180 degrees. And we're gonna bake these for 15 to 18 minutes. And then halfway in the middle of the timing, we'll take these out and turn them around, rotate them, and put them back in the oven. So far, so good. And you want to stick like a pot holder in the door of the oven so that's slightly open, so that way the humidity can escape. Because if it stays in, the cookie's going to stay damp and moist, and it needs to be more of a crispier cookie. Okay, I got my timer going here now. I've already passed the second turning. They're in there, so when the timer goes off now, they'll be done. But now for your filling. You can make any type of filling you want to, technically. But a traditional filling for your macaron is a ganache. And a ganache is so easy to make. It is fancy, but it's easy to make. It really is. All it is heavy cream, which is your liquid whipping cream, and chocolate. That's it. And you can use any kind of chocolate you want to, whatever flavor you want to. 1/3 cup of heavy cream. And we're going to microwave this for about 2 minutes. You want it to be hot. And then all we need is 4 ounces of chocolate, whatever flavor you want to put in. And they're done when you see that they have a flat surface to it. They're not shiny. That flat surface is there. These are done. Oh, these are just perfect. Oh, first time I made these. I know how to make, I just never made them before. So I'm going along here just like you are. I'm teaching you, I'm teaching myself. So now we want these to cool completely. And I don't want to put them back on the stove top. I'll just set these on my kitchen table. So we've got our 1/3 cup of heavy cream. And we need 4 ounces of chocolate, which is about 2/3 cup chocolate chips. And just swirl and twirl these around just a little bit. We don't want to stir them yet. Now we just let that sit for about a minute. Then we can stir it. Because what's going on now, the heat of the cream is melting your chocolate. And so you just gotta let that sit and let time take its course for it to melt. After a minute, then we can take and mix it up and mix it until it's thoroughly blended together. And then you got a nice whipped chocolate, which is ganache. That's all ganache is heavy cream and chocolate. And when you mix now, make sure you use a wooden spoon that's dry. You don't want a metal spoon and you don't want a wet spoon, because the moisture and the metal, when it comes in contact with that chocolate, is gonna coagulate it, stiffen it up, and it gets hard as a rock. And it's wasted, and you can't re-melt it. You gotta throw it away. So that's just the way the chemical reaction is. So make sure you have a wooden spoon and that it's dry. Now we just take and mix these together till thoroughly blended and melted together. This hot cream is still melting the rest of the chocolate, any little pieces. And that's all there is to it. That's your ganache. Just keep stirring it and it'll thicken up. It gets thicker the more you stir it because you're blending in that cream with the chocolate. It's melting more and more. And then you can let this sit and cool for about 10-15 minutes and then it'll thicken up even more so. So then you got a nice pliable, thick chocolate, kind of like a frosting almost, but not quite. And then that's our ganache. And then we get done with this. Everything's all cooled. We'll put together our little macaron sandwiches. Okay, our cookies are nice and cooled. So is our ganache, and that's thickened up nicely. And then all we do is just make our sandwiches. And you can put on as much or as little as you want, but predominantly what you do is you want enough on there so that when you press it together, it oozy-goozy out to the edges without falling over. And you just press two together. And that's it. Bon appetit! Our French little macaron. Now when you get these done, what you want to do then is put them in the refrigerator, and they really should sit in the refrigerator overnight so that your chocolate seals together, and the coolness of the refrigerator is going to make these softer so they're not as hard. Because this is a nice crispy meringue cookie right now. So these are our French macarons, and I hope you enjoy these as much as we do and had fun making them. And they are a little time consuming, but not too bad. So they are fun. And like I said, you could have different colors, different flavors. It's all up to you and your imagination. So enjoy! So now we're going to be doing the Palmiers. And these are just a very, very simple appetizer to make. It's a sweet dessert treat. It's a French cookie. And what we have is the puff pastry. You know, it comes in all folded up in the sheets. We just lay out a sheet and bring that up to room temperature so that it could somewhat thaw out. Not completely room temperature, because you still want it chilled. The other one's in the refrigerator to keep chilled. But you want this to be pliable enough so that you can roll it out. And what we did was covered it completely with cinnamon sugar. You put that on the bottom of your parchment paper first, just like you would flour for rolling out cookie dough. Then you lay your pastry puff sheet on top of that, and then you sprinkle the top of this with cinnamon sugar. Now we're going to take and roll these together. And what this does, you want to get this to about a 13 by 9 inch rectangle. And by rolling this out, it gets the cinnamon sugar grounded in to the pastry. It presses it in. And that's what this is doing from underneath and on top. Then, I want to make sure that these seams are sealed. Then, we're going to take And fold this in half. You have the lengthways going this way. And you want to fold this in towards the center. And same with the other side. So you want to back this up a little bit. You want to make sure that's even. Then we take and roll it again. The folded edges in towards the center. And kind of press that together. And then we're going to take and cut these into about 3/8 of an inch thick, which is rather thin. So I'm going to cut this into 3/4 inch, 3/8 inch. Those are narrow pieces. And then we just set these on to our baking sheet. And you want to space these apart a couple inches. These are going to puff out. And I just flatten the top down slightly. And then you just continue this. Now we have our oven preheating at 400 degrees. And these are going to bake for approximately, about 7 or 8 minutes, 6 to 8 minutes on one side. And then we'll take the pan out, and then we turn the pastry over. And then we cook it for another 3 to 5 minutes until light golden brown. Remember, these are going to puff up too, so you want to make sure you have plenty of space in between. Slide these over just a little bit more. Then, after you turn these over in the oven, halfway through the baking, then you just take and sprinkle a little bit more cinnamon sugar on top. And I'm just going to sprinkle it lightly, a little bit more cinnamon sugar on top. And like I said, after we turn these over in about 7 or 8 minutes, we'll take and, after we turn them over, we'll take and sprinkle those sides with more cinnamon sugar. So we'll just put these in the oven, and then we'll take them out, put more, and then we'll put more sugar in. And then these are the French Palmiers. And like I said, these are extremely hot now, so I'm not taking these off the sheet yet. I'm gonna have them cool for a little bit. You can see the nice flaky crust, pastry crust with the cinnamon sugar all inside and out on top. These are wonderful little appetite, little French cookie snacks. These look really good, Callie. And then when these cool completely, if you want to, which is optional, you can drizzle white or chocolate icing, real thin strips across the tops of these. That makes it just more extra special. But these are the French Palmiers. Ooh, these look so good. I bet you they're really tasty too, Callie, but they're too hot, hot, hot. Well, we hope you enjoyed our French lessons in cooking today. We had fun making these things, the Palmiers and the Macarons. And the Macarons I got in the refrigerator right now because they're going to cool down and then they become a little bit softer. The outside is crispy, crunchy meringue, and the inside is really soft. It's really nice. So, Callie, did you get enough samples? Let's see who wrote us this week. And if you have any questions for Callie and I on baking or canning, cooking, even gardening, because we're going to do that as soon as this weather warms up, feel free to write us at the Northwoods Cooking Show at yahoo.com. Let's see who wrote us, Callie. Oh, you're a tweet. A little birdie, a little cheesy birdie. Oh, oh, oh. this. Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Quick. Dear Uncle Roy, Miss Callie, I was wondering if I can save my Easter lily. Can I plant that out in the garden this spring? Sign, Anne of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Oh, hello, Anne. Yes, you can. I know we had the Easter lilies. Mine's already dropped dead. But you can keep it in the house until it's, the leaves start to yellow and die off on you. Then you can just take and pull it up out of its pot and just cut those bulbs off. Cut the branches off where the dirt soil was, even. Just cut them off, boom, boom, boom. And then you can dig up those bulbs and you can plant those outside. They won't come back this year, but they will come back next year. It's like a 50-50 chance. Because they're forests, they don't always come back, but it's a fun thing to try. I've done it before, and I've had them come back year after year. In fact, I got one in Minneapolis, still at my old place, that's still coming up year after year, and it's been going on now for, when did I plant that, like 7-8 years ago. It's still coming up every year, so it does, the 50-50 chance of it coming back the following year. It won't come up this year, but it will the next year, because it needs that coolness to cool it down in the winter, and then in the spring it'll come back up again. Easter lilies is a Asiatic flower, and so they usually come up, right away in the spring, but they usually bloom around mid to late June. Hope that answers your questions. And from Miss Callie and I, we want to say, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. It's a big treat. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Eat healthy, be safe, spread the sunshine. And thank you for, Callie, get over here. Don't be hiding way out there in the back. People can't see you. Get over here and go hello, and say goodbye. Say, au revoir, Callie, au revoir.